live, but I think I messed up because I didn't put in the new Instagram thing. Come on. Nice. Cool. All right, folks, looks like we're live. Oh, what did I just hide? Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Hopefully we can make this work. Let me look at the comments. Trying to run like Facebook. I'm kind of in a new place recording. Not on my normal office spot, so I had to set up some things. Anyways, gonna get to it. We're already a few seconds in. No need to waste time. Cool. Let me just clear my space a little bit. Awesome. Cool. All right, yeah, so this is the Daily Shane D for March 5th. Is that Tuesday, I guess? Yeah, didn't even know what date it is. But yeah, the agenda is goal under 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. So first things first, you don't want to miss today's episode of Daily Shane D. It's a big day. That's my attempt at making a hook. But in all seriousness, thank you for taking the time to listen, whether it's live or after the fact. I appreciate your support, and I hope what I discuss adds value to your life. As I mentioned, we got a lot of great updates today. We had some good updates from the other day, and unfortunately kind of lost it because I was putting some random video of DJ Khaled running around, so apologies for that. If you watched it, you know, you basically just saw me like lip syncing with random music going. And yes. So anyways, don't want to say uhs or ums. Also saying like a lot, which is what I realized. So going to try to say like a little bit less. Obviously, sometimes you have to say a simile or a comparison. So it's not perfect. But yeah. Cool. So I will kind of go over, there's only like a couple highlights from yesterday, which I might as well start with. It's kind of like a lesson learned. It's basically that happiness exists in the present. I'm happiest in life when I'm present and acting towards my life's goal on a daily basis. That doesn't mean that you're constantly going 100 miles an hour with no rest. Sometimes I'm learning to be better at resting, and I'm also noticing that working late without sleep kind of leads to reduced efficiency and ultimately more burnout. I said it before, but there is definitely a difference between a people person and a people pleaser. Pleasers tend to get used, but a people person can still have boundaries and care for themselves. And this reminds me of the quote, like, you cannot serve from an empty vessel. Cool. So jumping back to the daily quote for today, it goes, sometimes you have to take a leap of faith first. The truth part comes later, and that's Manoj Arora. And yeah, I think in order to get my quotes posted daily and not have like days off without that and stuff like that, and maybe to save some time, gonna either have all my quotes prepped for the week as well as the pictures, and I might also just tweet them right away, kind of at the beginning of the week. I do like having the ability to pick a quote based on kind of what the schedule is and stuff like that, but I think if we start to plan the week out, we'll have an idea of what kind of quotes we want for each day and how to keep going. So just trying to change up maybe my method there just to be more productive instead of every day spending like an hour or two to get the post ready. Really get it down to like 15 minutes a day, and then maybe just spending like an hour at the beginning of the week to prep all of it. Because it seems like there'd be like an economies of scale situation. So just trying to find ways to maximize the results while minimizing the effort. Cool. So other things we learned kind of based on my past few days' experiences is stay positive no matter what. Always see a silver lining and do not let pressure stress you out, especially in a job where you're like bartending or serving. You don't want to like ruin the experience for the customer. So it's really good to just stay positive. Also, while you're kind of a new employee, it's a new company in general, a new store or new restaurant, but you don't want to have any instances where, you know, you're getting overwhelmed, you're falling behind and stuff like that, and you're, you know, bringing down the environment. So it's really key to just bring positivity there. Another thing is like be coachable. And I've said this in the past that I was going to be more coachable with comedy, and I need to take this approach with bartending, serving, and just in general, everything. Instead of having a comeback or a reason why you're not doing something, just say, yes, I totally understand. Be like, is it okay if I ask a question for clarity? And then do that, and then start actually getting it right. You know, if they see you taking the effort to get things right, no one's going to be upset with you, and they're ultimately going to want to work with you more and more. Another thing is like, do not be oversensitive. And I think I have tough skin, but sometimes I can be a little bit sensitive or overthinking after the fact. So definitely don't be oversensitive, but also be sensitive to others and empathetic. Don't just assume that you know how their life is and they should be this way or that way. Just really give them benefit of the doubt and you'll go a long way. Do what you say you'll do and do it to the best of your ability with full focus. This kind of brings me back to Landmark when I did that. And it really is just, if you do what you say you'll do, you're going to accomplish your goals no matter what. Other thing here I have is take risks. Do not stay on the sideline of your life. Whether you win or lose, have fun in the game of life. And that is so true. Like, it's easy to be comfortable, but at the end of the day, like, the comfort causes a lot of pain and discomfort, kind of ironically, in its own. You really do want to just take the chance. And I have an instance today of how I've done that and how there was a lot of things get in the way. But if you just take a baby step forward, you'll start to progress towards your goals. Awesome. Next one is patient is key. Do not rush results. With hard work, you'll reach your goals. So that kind of goes hand in hand with what I just said. Don't be expecting the results right away. It's kind of like when you plant a seed, you don't expect the plant to be harvested the next week, the next day. Like, it's a several month-long process. So definitely give it time to grow and become the full kind of result that you're expecting. But don't even expect a specific result. Like, go for a goal, but when you have certain things come out as, I want to say, like, side effects or something. I don't know. Sorry, I was just looking at something in front of me looked like really crooked, and I'm just like worried if they like installed it wrong in my house. But that's not really that important right now. What is important though is, like I said, just keep taking risks. Don't be on the sideline of your life. And it might seem stressful at times, but ultimately, if you're creating a life you love, try to like keep yourself present by reminding yourself of those things. Cool. So, daily recap. Yesterday I had my first day as a bartender and server. I did great, but I really do have a lot to learn. I can see a lot of areas of improvement. Some things I need to learn and remember is drop pens off with the check. I think it'd be good to have like a little apron with a pad, straws maybe, and then a check so that in case I forget, or not check, pens, just so in case I forget, I can be like, oh yeah, 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 right there, and then and not have to look back. It'd just be more professional. Don't want to give off anything of like unprofessional or unpracticed. So the more I can do that, the better I'll look. Also, I made a foolish mistake. At first, I got like one cash order throughout the day. I think I ended up with two total for the day. But the first one, I accidentally put like with the tips and where the receipts are supposed to go. So in order to kind of fix that, they just separated the two. No big deal. I felt dumb as hell and had to get explained, but they were nice about it and it was very kind. I think the good thing is that I mentioned it right away instead of letting it fester. I was like, oh crap, and asked the question. Should have asked right away when I didn't know instead of assuming, but that'll happen. One time's not going to kill it, and they found it luckily and got it all sorted out. The other thing is like writing down the order, not just trying to put it right in the handheld toast system. It's good for backup if you need to, and also just a little bit quicker so you can kind of get in and get out and then put the orders in after. You can also write down a few people's orders from different tables and then do it instead of trying to like send it in from the toast machine. It's also good though just to like when you have an order, don't get like slowed down too much and put that in. Anyways, I'm not like giving a lesson on it. I'm more just calling out like things I want to learn myself. Also, I only had like 3 tables realistically. There's some people walking around. You kind of have to keep track of them, and you help other sections, which is asked when you're a little bit slow. But I need to be good about not going to other sections until my section was 100% taken care of. Like really, I should just go one to one and be like, hey, do you need anything? Do you need anything? Do you need anything? And then go and help other people out. Yeah, and then just being a team player. So at the end of shift change, just helping until things settle. Give at least an hour per shift to be safe. That's one thing. Study menu more and also study the drinks more. Just found myself, people are asking questions and I thought I knew a lot about it. And then suddenly I'm like a deer in the headlights. And so it'd be good to just have all those answers and not be as like dependent on looking at the menu, assuming things, or just kind of being a little out of the know. Just a lot better for a person to have like a really good concept of the menu. Cool. So I actually had going next is today I had a client visit and we showed him a property yesterday, but also showed him several today. He's looking for kind of like a golf community. And so had a good experience kind of seeing other golf communities in the area. Something that I hadn't really nailed down too much, but got to see quite a few properties that are available under 250,000. I personally lean more towards the 3 bedrooms in terms of profitability and returns on what you're renting. But the person I was working with is interested in some 2 bedrooms. So we went and saw some of them, saw some 3 bedrooms. Yeah, and I do just want to call out is actually someone from my past that kind of grew up. We weren't from the same town, but we were always friendly. And he saw me posting on Facebook. So you may be like, oh, why is Shane posting so much? Well, that's part of the reason. I don't want to be just like only talking real estate and stuff like that, but it is part of my career and what I'm passionate about. And so that's actually funny. Sorry, I had to like turn to the side, getting distracted by my city. It looks like my like eyebrow goes like all the way to here because of the shadow, but I swear my eyebrow stops. Anyways, that's a little ADD break for you. But I do think posting is working well. I think like not being showy about real estate, but like posting myself, being honest, having some of this other content. And then when I'm at open houses, when I have real estate knowledge, just kind of sharing that along, but not overbearing and doing it too much. I do want to say I'm still finding the balance of real life posts versus, let me just fix this camera a little. Again, I'm in like a new spot, so bear with me a little bit. We're struggling a little bit to get this exactly how I want it. All right, much better. Okay, so yeah, I just need to find the right balance of real life posts, kind of about what I'm doing day to day, versus real estate, versus some of the other things and kind of passion projects that I have going on. And I really appreciate all the feedback. So keeping it separate's been helpful. It has caused me maybe a little bit to slow down, but I don't think slowing down is a bad thing as long as we have some frequency. Daily's ideal, but you can't always get a post out every day. That's not always going to happen. So we did see some cool properties. He's mostly looking at golf courses, like I said. Unfortunately, it looks like he may move forward with another property and or realtor. He actually had a realtor for Pawleys Island, which is just a little bit south of Myrtle Beach, and he's been working with him. So if he ends up getting the business, that's great. I may even just text him like, "Hey, try to ask if I can get the referral," which would be awesome, and see if that can happen because that would just be like a nice little 25% piece for me. And he ultimately might even do like an off market deal, which is a little bit slap in the face. And I'm like, I don't advise to do that if you don't have to. But if it is absolute, I'd just point him in the direction of an attorney because I can't necessarily get him. I can't be his real estate coordinator, like even a transaction coordinator. I can't really do that unless I think like 2% is the minimum that my company needs to get. So we don't really do like transaction stuff. We'll see. I just basically want to stay in the loop on that and be like, let me like help you find an attorney. Maybe one last time, kind of give my 2 cents. But it is what it is. I don't advise not using a realtor. In all honesty, like there's so much we do, and when it comes down to it, like you're gonna actually work a ton, and there's gonna be a lot of liability, a lot of potential issues. I even think the attorney would probably request you to get a realtor in this, but I haven't really experienced that myself. I know when I did FISBO, I was able to get it done. It was a little bit of a crazy market, but I just trusted my real estate skills with an attorney to sell the house. So I'm not saying it's impossible by any means, but I do advise you be cautious because there's certain things like you want to make sure you get a home inspection. You want to make sure you have kind of the right people in your corner and helping you do what you want. Ultimately, like you can buy like you can go around and shop insurance by yourself, but an insurance broker just makes it easy to make sure you get the best deal. That's what a realtor's doing. They're making sure they negotiate for you to get the best deal possible. With that, he's going to have to negotiate a price on his own. There's a chance that the person does something not shady, but really there's a reason they're selling the property, right? And so they're going to at first start with a price that's fair to them and may sound good on paper, but I just want to be careful that he's protected. As my friend, I'm going to do whatever I can to try to help him out regardless. But if I was his realtor, I'd have the ability to help with things like negotiating. Negotiation's really the biggest one I can think of, but really it just like adds a layer of like I deal with all the documentation, the back and forth. There's a lot of work done. So when you have a full-time job, it's not easy to do the moving and or the purchasing of a home, things like dealing with moving, packing, getting furniture, any sort of upkeep, home inspections, home warranties, home insurance, getting the escrow, getting the lender. There's just so much to it that the right person could probably do it on their own and not have many problems, but I don't advise it, and I do think it's always worth consulting a realtor at least to see how they can help you. So that's my little claim to fame there. Anyways, his dad, great guy. He might actually buy with me, so he was down visiting as well and kind of checking out the properties, seeing things that need work, whatnot. Sorry, I just need a drink here. Ooh, that was a scratchy throat. But his dad's hilarious. They actually used to call him King George. which is wicked funny because I guess he used to wear like 2 gold track suits all the time. I don't know what else to say, but the guy was really funny. We kicked it off pretty good. He seemed to like me, which was awesome. And we actually have some funny stories. I'm going to give that on the late night Shane show, maybe tomorrow or Thursday. So stay tuned for that. But I don't want to necessarily go into details because it's a little bit off color maybe for just being on Facebook. Anyways, we'll go into that in a couple days. We're going to go over Coastal baseball game. The team's looking good. I'm pretty nervous because the pitching's having some issues in the first few innings, and then they start to get hot. It actually is happening with the bats as well. Like, we got some great offense, but it's rarely in the first 3 innings that we're doing much. Tends to be in the later innings that we start to kind of make our mark. But here's what it is. Base running's been a little bit odd. There's a couple like questionable moments and stuff like that. And me and my dad have been wondering if it's the player's fault or the third base coach, where he's saying it's probably the third base coach because he doesn't think the runners have the kind of ability to choose to run on their own, which I see. It's a college program, D1. You would think the coach has a lot of influence over that. And so it's probably him. He seems to be a little bit odd. Sometimes people are getting picked off. Sometimes they're stealing at kind of weird times and getting thrown out. Sometimes they're like just making it there. And so I'm not sure what he's doing with the stopwatch or what he's timing exactly, but it seems like they're trying to see like, if certain things can happen, if they know that they're going to get the steal. I'm not really totally sure. I think it's a little bit risky, but my dad did explain sometimes you need to get guys in scoring position no matter what. I'm not a big fan of small ball like bunting and stuff like that, but it is ways to get scores, I guess. And so if you're in a tight-knit game, it could be a strategy, no doubt. A lot of home runs. All season there's been a lot. Ton today. In one inning, they actually scored 7 runs, which helped Coastal, the Chants, win the game. I was kind of bummed. Chauncey hasn't been there all weekend or today because students are on spring break. So hashtag bring Chauncey back, please. But yeah, so that's the update on Coastal baseball. Last little update for today is huge step in the direction of kind of starting my own business, the landscaping, loveyourlawn.care. There's so many steps I need to take to really get going, but it was helpful. I talked to a friend, B. Murph, shout out, who was a landscaper in his past life, has a lot of experience doing landscaping, so he gave me some good advice. First of all, he's just like, get client number 1 because you can't even worry about all these things down the road and what ifs if you don't have a client. So the goal right now is get client number 1. Then it's like get 5 clients, 10 clients, 20 clients, 40 clients, 80 clients. I'm hoping by the end of this year to have a good solid 40 clients. But I did the math, and between me and my dad, if we're doing the work, I think we'll be all right, even just with like 10 or 20 clients. And I'm going to pay him pretty well, basically like half of the revenue at this point. And then in the future, try to find a way to kind of hire other people. It'd be awesome if by the end of the summer we have some employees, but it might be more realistically next year that we're starting really with other employees. I think it's something me and him can cover, but given my availability, I may need to bring someone in and just pay them like $100 a day or something like that. As long as it comes out to, close to 15 an hour, I think it's fair. And yeah, it was also cool. My buddy just talked about certain incentive programs that I was thinking of myself. So it was good to be like, oh, I'm not a total idiot. And yeah, the next step, so the important step I took was I actually bought insurance. So I'm now protected if any damage occurs while landscaping or power washing for up to $1 million. So that was a huge step forward. Something new for me, kind of risky. It's not totally expensive, but it is coverage that they'll give. And then there's no deductible or anything like that. Like they'll just help out. So that makes me feel better if something was to go wrong in terms of trying to, do the work or something like that. I also think I should purchase like an equipment insurance, but I haven't quite done that yet. If anyone has experience with that, definitely reach out. Would love to hear about it. And then the final step to really kick it off, or the final 2 steps, is purchase a small trailer for my equipment and mower, and also like buy some rakes, some shovels, some barrels, and a wheelbarrow. I'd also love maybe a little cart for my mower to take the mulch, because mulching is obviously a pretty big job. Gonna have to figure out some pricing, so doing some research and stuff like that. But getting that trailer would be huge. And when I have that trailer, I will be able to load my lawnmower, do all sorts of work, and that will be good. Yeah, I mean, you can't really like drive job to job. It would be pretty funny in my own neighborhood, just like driving on my my lawnmower itself to the place. But I'm not going to do that. Also, probably want to buy at least like 2 or 3 more batteries, and they're about like $400 each. So maybe a little less than that. They might be like $300 each. But it's probably going to cost me almost $1,000 to get the batteries I need. That would just enable me to be working all day and charging them in the meantime and getting the most out of it. Cool. So that's today's updates. Tomorrow's updates. Just want to see what time we're at real quick. Oh my God, we're at 20 minutes. So much for 10-minute goal. But yeah, so tomorrow's forecast, I'm picking Timmy D up from the car mechanic. I'm working on getting my unemployment claim fixed from October to March. Something went wrong there. I'm showing some houses to myself, two of them, and then I think I have two other properties to look at for one of my clients. I'm going to post about loveyourlawn.care to Facebook and other sites, possibly get some targeted ads going, and got to get ready for the phone to ring. I'm a little nervous because I'll be at work, and so I'm not really totally sure what I'll do. I might have to like somehow either call forward to Timmy D or just put on my voicemail, like, please leave a name and number and I'll be sure to get back to you, and just make it personalized to, hey, I'm currently working a day job, but I do have availability to do your lawn. Like, this is a newer company, yada, 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 kind of put that out there. I'm not really sure the exact wording. That might be good to kind of set up for tonight. So that might be one of my next steps going forward. And yeah, I definitely prefer text and emails because, yeah, it's just easier when I'm working other jobs and just to get their information. I'm also going to maybe tell them to go check out loveyourlawn.care. And that has like a nice form that they can fill out and pretty easy for them to use. And then last but not least, gonna study for my bartending job, get better at that, and reach out to clients slash check in. That's about it. Otherwise, keep giving feedback. I got some feedback that maybe the psychedelic screens was a lot. I'm not saying I'll never do it. I think maybe mixing it up is important. So I think just the background's not as important about being like crazy psychedelic. Maybe it's distracting to people. So I'm going to try to do more plain Jane stuff in the background. Definitely don't need it to change quite as much. Maybe have it like very slow changing just to kind of help my ADHD and stuff like that. But I don't want to have the same ones day over day. So that's some feedback. If you got more, give it to me. And anyways, I want to say thanks for sticking around. I wish you all nothing but the best. I just want to note tonight there'll be no late night Shane show, but I do plan on having an episode tomorrow or Thursday with some funny stories. So check it out. Stay tuned. I'll probably post some more. And like I said, gonna prep for the daily quotes so that I don't have to worry about getting them out or not. Hope you have a great day. Like I said,